Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. Hope you're doing well. I am doing a whole lot better after recovering from the flu. Still have a little bit of a raspy throat and a cough, but I am feeling way better than I did. So I hope everybody had a great Christmas, and we're going to go ahead and jump straight into today's card. This is a shaker card, and if you're not familiar with shaker cards, they are cards that have beads and sequins and most of the time it's just going to be beads and sequins on the inside and then a layer of acetate over the top to keep everything in. Now there's two different ways to do this, and I'll show you the way that I do it. So I got all my materials together and I'm going to go ahead and start working with them. I love these little snowflake sequins that I got, and I'll show those in a little while. So the first thing I'm going to do is I cut that snowflake out of cardstock using my Cricut, and I'm laying a piece of acetate over the top to measure and see how big I need to cut this piece of acetate so that it covers the snowflake but doesn't peer out on either side. So I'm going to take my Sharpie and just make a line just on the inside that covers the snowflake, but I'm not wasting a whole bunch of it. So I've already made a mistake, and I'm actually about to start gluing this piece of cardstock to the acetate. That is the incorrect order. What I should have done is I should have laid this on top of that black fun foam piece over there and marked out where the snowflake was going to be, because at the moment I don't know where it's going to be whenever I cut it into that fun foam. So I messed up, and hopefully you learned from my mistake. So now I'm laying down that piece of acetate on the top, and again I should have put that on top of the fun foam so I could cut out the fun foam first. So yeah, whoops. And this is kind of when I realized that I did that. So I'm taking the inverse, or the snowflake itself that got cut out, and I'm kind of placing it on the fun foam where I kind of think the snowflake is going to be. And I'm just kind of playing around with it and seeing if I have a general idea. And I figured it out, so I started cutting out the area where the snowflake is going to be. And I'm just going to cut out a general hole. It doesn't have to look pretty, because most of it will be, in fact all of it will pretty much be behind that cardstock, and it won't be visible. It's just basically a container to hold everything in. And a lot of people use foam tape or foam squares to make their little pockets, but I don't like that because it's harder to stabilize whenever it's going through the mail. So this fun foam keeps everything perfectly level, and there's no odd pressures. So I'm taking the glue and I'm putting a line of glue around the edge of this fun foam to keep everything in. And this fun foam is about, I think it said it was like 3 millimeters thick. It's pretty thick fun foam. You can pick up fun foam from any of the crafting stores, they'll have it, and you can get it in a variety of colors. I happen to have black on hand, so that's what I used. And don't be afraid whenever you're crafting to get a little messy, so that's why I just go ahead and use my finger to clean up, or not clean up, but to spread out all this glue. So now I'm laying it on top, and this is going to be the little area or the window where I'm going to put the beads at, so that alright, I have grabbed some, these are little white beads, and I think if I was to do this again I wouldn't use the white beads because they kind of stuck everywhere and they kept the sequins from shaking really well. So I think I would just use sequins, like those blue sequins, and these are iridescent. I really like these. They look kind of like snow. And then I have these really awesome snowflake sequins. You see it on the tabletop there, it kind of flew out. And I put those in there as well. Kind of spread them out so that way they don't get stuck whenever I put the backing on. So now I'm taking some more of that glue and I'm just going to go around everything again. I should have cut this snowflake a little bit further down because you'll notice around the edges they're kind of thin, and it works, but I think if I was to do this card again, I would probably make the snowflake in the center of the card instead of so far to the top. So I'm spreading the glue around again with my finger, and that white piece of cardstock is going to be the backing for this. So I'm just going to line up this white piece of paper with the back of the card. And this is going to make a nice little panel that I can attach directly to my card. This is an A2 size card, so 5.5 by 4.25. And it's going to be a top folding card. There you can see the sequins shaking a little bit, and I'm trying to knock them loose because they stuck a little bit. You should definitely wait a little bit before picking your card up, so that way you can make sure that you don't get the sequins stuck to the glue. And now I'm taking this piece. I used the print and cut feature from the Cricut Explorer and was able to print this and then cut this out on a piece of cardstock. Simply attaching it to the front, just like so. Pushing it down to make sure, and again, this is why I like using the fun foam, it's because it's so much easier just to push down, and there's material behind all of it, so I'm not giving uneven pressure. I'm using Tombow Extreme Adhesive. This adhesive is great, but at the very end you kind of have to go off to the side because it's really, really sticky, so you kind of have to pull it up and off to the side. And I'm going to place it to the front of the card, making sure to give even pressure all the way across so that way it sticks to my card. And again, this is why the foam works out better, because if there were little foam squares behind, it would be harder for me to push and make sure that I get everything tacked down without tearing something or warping something or whatever. And that's the card. It's a super easy card, and I really like how it came out. I gave this to my aunt for her Christmas card, and she absolutely loved it. And she thought it was so cool that there were little pieces that slide around in that window. I learned a lot from this card, and I hope I have passed on my knowledge to you, so that way you don't make the mistakes that I do and can tackle. It seems like it's really difficult at first, but when you start putting it together, it actually goes together very easily. So that's today's card. I hope everybody has a great week, and we have New Year's coming up on Thursday, so I will see you next year. See you later, guys. Remember, keep it off kilter.